The 2013 Middle East cold snap, also referred to as Alexa, refers to the winter storm that hit the Middle East region in December 2013, affecting Israel, Turkey, Cyprus, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Palestine, and Egypt. The storm caused mayhem to millions of poor and displaced people across the region, especially afflicting refugees from the Syrian conflict. Events by country. Cyprus. By December 14, the storm had covered the island's Troodos mountain range with snow. Snowing had begun several days earlier, with snow reaching a peak thickness of 70 centimeters in Troodos. 400 customers lost electricity, and several villages, including Armino Hori, Farmakas, Campi, and Sina Oris, completely lost it for extended periods of time. Egypt's capital, Cairo, witnessed extremely rare snowfall on Friday, December 13, that the local media claimed to be the first in 112 years, and night temperature was expected to drop as low as 2 degrees Celsius. Snow also fell heavily on Sinai Mountains, Israel on the 13th of December 2013. 40 to 70 centimeters of snow fell in Jerusalem and 1 meter in the Kefar area. Warmer parts of Israel received heavy rains, causing floods. The railway into Jerusalem ran, although it was Sabbath for people stranded by blocked roads. Roads were closed in Israel by deep snow and flooding. Storm clouds prompted Ben Gurion International Airport to shut down, forcing U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry to cut short his meeting with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in Ramallah to return to Israel before roads and airports were out of service. Jerusalem was cut off for 48 hours by deep snow and flooding, and cars abandoned after they got stuck in snow. Ramallah, Bethlehem, Jerusalem and Hebron and many other towns and cities were coated in snow, and some lower-lying areas suffered flooding from heavy rain. Snow in Nablus and Hebron ranged from 60 to 145 centimeters, and in Bethlehem 20 to 55 centimeters. The scene in Manger Square, the square adjacent to the Church of the Nativity, was that of a white Christmas, with the square fully decorated and covered with a deep coat of snow. Gaza Strip. The Gaza Strip was lashed by torrential rain for a third day, and its Hamas rulers said that residents had been evacuated from 60 flooded homes since storms hit the coastal territory on December 11. Jordan. In Jordan, Ghazi Sahan, spokesman for Jordan's administration of Syrian refugee camps, announced on December 13 that, during the past 48 hours, 10,000 blankets and 1,500 heaters have been distributed to refugees. Quote, "Deep snow fell in Amman, where King Abdullah II of Jordan helped to push a car that had got stuck in snow." Lebanon. It was reported that the Lebanese army was called in to help distribute emergency aid to Syrian refugees, as the UN handed out fuel, blankets, heaters and food rations yesterday amid a third day of severe winter weather in the region. According to Abu Fawaz's announcement, published in Al-Nahar newspaper on December 12, there are 1,600 refugees in addition to 431 random camps, which makes it difficult to reach these places. That is why the cabinet had to ask for the help of the army to make as much aid reach those refugees as possible. Palestine. Ramallah, Bethlehem and Hebron and many other towns and cities were coated in snow, and some lower-lying areas suffered flooding from heavy rain. Snow in Nablus and Hebron ranged from 60 to 145 centimeters, and in Bethlehem 20 to 55 centimeters. The scene in Manger Square, the square adjacent to the Church of the Nativity, was that of a white Christmas, with the square fully decorated and and covered with a deep coat of snow. Syria. The United Nations High Commission for Refugees issued plans to airlift 40 tons of food for 50,000 to 60,000 people into the northeastern province of Hasakah from Iraq. The UN airlift of urgently needed food for tens of thousands of people in northeastern Syria, originally planned for December 12, was delayed by snow, according to Matthew Hollingworth, Syria Country Director for the United Nations World Food Programme. Most internally displaced Syrians fled their homes with few belongings, so they do not even have enough warm clothes or blankets to fend off the freezing weather. They desperately need fuel for heating and to cook the food they receive as humanitarian assistance. Quote, reportedly, a child and a baby died from the cold on December 12, and an activist in a besieged rebel-held town of Hara said residents were struggling to stay warm with the electricity cut off and no food or fuel allowed in. In southern Syria, the Golan Heights were covered with snow up to at least 100 centimeters deep. Meteorological history. Beginning December 11, a strong ridge in the jet stream caused a big anticyclone over Europe. Its east edge drew a strong current of cold air south from the Arctic. This polar outbreak overspread Turkey and the eastern Mediterranean region, pushing below moist air associated with the passing front, causing heavy snow and sleet over higher elevations in Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and Israel. At lower elevations, heavy rain from the system caused flooding in some areas.